Wall, and this is season 2 of the Untamed Truth. So check it out. Everybody been well, a lot of people been talking about these aliens and these alien spacecrafts. So of course, the army had to put their part in on what the government knows about the UFO. So I don't know if y'all knew about the whistleblower, but he came out and he said, "Yeah, we found non-human biologics at a crash site." I'm gonna let y'all hear from him.
Um, okay, and I can't ask when you think this occurred. If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
And was this documentary evidence, this video, photos, eyewitness? Like, how would that be determined?
The specific documentation I would have to talk to you in a skiff about.
All right, so y'all heard him. They found something. It was biologics. She asked him, was it human or non-human? He said it was non-human, according to the people who observed it. Now, those people might or might not known about this program that they've been having going on. Where they using where they're growing stem cells using them to grow particular ways and to grow particular things, like in China. In China they made the two a set of twin girls who are immune to like diseases like AIDS and stuff like that. So this stuff been going on for a long period of time, and not only are they doing it in the laboratory, people are doing this at home. So that's why in the title you see, is it a concern to us? So I'm gonna let this. I got another video for y'all. I'm gonna let them go deeper into detail about what these non-human biologics are. Because, like I told y'all before, it ain't nothing from outer space. It's something that we created right here. So, y'all check it out.
The holy grail of future technologies. There is no big company nor university which is not working on the development of artificial intelligence. Role models are often the superior performance of the biological brain, but that's also a lot of work. So, a development team in Australia wants to save tedious development time and insert brain cells into computers. You may think that sounds crazy, but their first prototype is already learning faster than traditional artificial intelligences of computers. How did they even do that? This is exactly what we will talk about in this video.
It's able to learn faster
exactly
than
those
traditional
problems
artificial
which
intelligence.
artificial intelligence can't. For over 800 million years, evolution has trained the biological brains of humans and animals to act in real time, detect unknown situations, and make the right decisions to survive. Every brain cell communicates through thousands of connections with other neurons. Every single one of these connections can either create new neurons, break them down, or even weaken them. This is how the brain adapts to new situations, learns at the same time from experiences, and all these without any hardware or big databases needed, because all these functions are already included in the biology of neurons. The nervous systems that developed in that way are extremely complex, but also robust, powerful, and efficient at the same time. These are exactly those properties that computer scientists have wanted to recreate since the 50s. So they created artificial neural networks, where many small computers connected to each other should mimic the brain. Since it was very hard in the beginning, it would take decades until processors and memory storages were developed that had the capacity to power artificial intelligence as we know today. Even if artificial intelligence, also called deep neural networks, is changing our world rapidly, it is still no contender to our biological example, and computer scientists keep working on the development. For example, reinforcement learning, a learning method of humans and animals that enables AI to learn decision making. It can learn, for example, to play a game just by playing it. On the hardware side, they work on so-called neuromorphic computing. Other than traditional GPUs, graphic processor unit, they communicate information by using small voltage spikes, exactly as neurons do it, with the expectation of making artificial neural networks faster and more efficient. Summarized, huge efforts are made to mimic the biological brain, but also hangs far behind, at least in most cases. But wait a second, why not just skip all the development work and connect a biological network into a computer? You think that sounds like crazy science fiction, don't you? But this is exactly what a company called Cortical Labs, based in Australia, is currently working on. First of all, the idea arises, of course, some questions. Are brains and computers even compatible? On one side, you have a logical computer system made of software, hardware, and memory storage, implementing transistor technology. A computer is basically made to solve arithmetic operations. On the other side, you have an organically grown network of neurons, where no borders between hardware, software, and storage are existent. Nervous systems have developed to make complex decisions and bring them to action fast. While a computer has no problem calculating big numbers, most of us have trouble just multiplying 4-digit numbers. In exchange, we can walk and talk at the same time without the need of connecting ourselves to big, gigantic supercomputers. But in spite of the big opposites, the link between brain and machine can work. The key word is brain-machine interfaces. Brain cells communicate through so-called action potentials. In a nutshell, it's basically short voltage spikes. We can already measure these action potentials as well as trigger them by putting electrodes to the brain and applying short voltages from outside. Both input and output can be done by the same electrodes. Now, we just have to link a computer in to analyze and control the neural activity. Well, the brain-machine interface is ready for action. Although brain-machine interfaces have been researched for a long time, only the cochlear implant has made it to mass adoption. There are also experimental projects where test participants can control prostheses just with their minds, a robotic arm or a leg, for example. Also, Elon Musk's Neuralink is currently working on a brain-machine interface, which of course will be able to do everything at some point. This monkey, for example, can play mind pong with it. So these are some proofs that the link between brain and machine is possible. But the team of scientists at Cortical Labs wants to integrate an isolated biological network into a computer, not the whole brain. That would be a bit of an overkill. To put it plainly, they want to integrate brain cells into a motherboard, like a graphic card. To do so, firstly, they have to put it in a small, controllable environment. And secondly, they have to make sure to adjust those brain cells into the interface of a computer. This is where multi-electrode arrays comes into play. These are circuit boards with dozens of contact points. On these boards, you can place flat preparations, like slices of brain cells, for example. During this experiment, the sensitive tissue is kept at the right temperature and applied with a nutrient solution that also contains oxygen to nourish the brain cells. With this approach, neuroscientists have discovered a lot about the functionality of neurons. The preparations described are still coming from animals, which unfortunately have to die for these experiments. But modern science already has a solution for this ethical problem. It's called pluripotent stem cells. They can either take these from animal embryos or even better, from human skin, so that no animal is involved in those trials anymore. With the right processing, they can make neurons out of these stem cells, which can be added on the multi-electrode array, and with the right electrical stimulation, they can finally control the growth of these cells.
So y'all heard it just from human skin cells. They can actually use these stem cells and control their growth as to what they grow into.
This is exactly how the Australian company Cortical Labs integrated biological brain cells into a computer. They call their invention dish brain. No, they don't serve you brains in a dish. It's only the ironic approach of the scientists. And the question remaining now is, how did Cortical Labs test and approve this system? As you already figured out, the standard to test these learning systems is the super high-end game called Pong. In order to play Pong, our mini cyborg brain needs something like a display as an output and the possibility to enter inputs. Basically something like a controller. In this case, the Australian team defined a rectangular area on the board as a display, with the difference that no pixels light up, but the neurons get electrical stimulations through electrodes, and the input operates similarly. The scientists have defined an area where the neural activity is measured and determined. If the neural activity of the neurons were higher on one side, the paddle of the Pong game shifted up. If the activity were on the other side, the paddle shifted down. And as a negative feedback, they just stimulated all the neurons at the same time when they missed a ball. It was the first time in history that this was ever tested. It not only worked out, the mini cyborg even did a really good job. The network of biological brain cells began to learn Pong in just a few minutes. In the course of this, a system with human brain cells first performed worse than the system with brain cells of a mouse, but learned faster and performed better at the end. Unbelievable how both biological systems have learned Pong with lesser repetitions than AI of classical computers. Indeed, the AI was still better at playing Pong in the end. But to be fair, we have to consider that the brain computer consists of only a few hundred neurons, while the human brain, on the other hand, owns 86 billion. So there is a huge potential for scaling this system, and the final words regarding performance have not been spoken yet. The authors of the study describe these brain cells to be integrated into the game virtually, so the network has basically thought it is the paddle. But certainly a few hundred cells definitely haven't any consciousness and a concept of themselves or their position in a virtual world at all. So far, the study has only been published as a preprint, and that means we don't know whether the study has already been reviewed by independent experts and be published in an official journal in its current form anytime soon. But some experts have already spoken positively to some journalists. The development of biological neural networks is certainly in its inception. A big hurdle of this technology is the big expanse to produce and operate those systems. Ultimately, the stem cells have to be cultivated and kept alive on the circuit board. So you probably won't be putting devices of biological brain cells into your pocket and listening to your Spotify playlist anytime soon. But maybe it will be possible sometime to integrate those systems into big computing servers where we can access them remotely. Or maybe they will find their use in autonomous robots like that one in Robocop. We will wait and see what the future has in store for us. However, one important question remains unanswered. How does a network even solve a concrete problem at all? A brain or a deep neural network is like a black box. You know what comes in and what comes out, but you don't know on which logical basis the problem is solved. No one can identify the decision-making of such a box, nor prove or correct it before it makes a potentially serious mistake. So do we want to leave important decisions to systems that we cannot fully understand? And at which point does a biological computer chip develop a feeling or even a consciousness? After all, these are human brain cells. And that's probably why some people may ask themselves whether it's ethical to use these mini brains for research purposes. Just imagine a brain chip like that develops a consciousness and is trapped in a computer game playing Pong until the end of its time. That would be scary. Probably that's not the case, but after a certain number of neurons, these systems could of course develop a conscious mind and feelings, so it remains an ethically critical topic. What do you think about this technology? Is it necessary to research further for mankind, or do you think it goes a bit too far?
All right, there you have it. What y'all think? Leave it in the comments. Is it ethical to keep researching this stuff, or should we just leave it alone? I mean, because like you say, you don't really know if these brain cells from humans are developing a soul or not. And if they are, and they trapped off in a gang of ping pong forever, I mean, and they learning, you know, if you keep something trapped, y'all should know, if you keep something trapped for a long time in a boring or negative situation, it's going to figure out how to get out. And when they get out, it's not going to be happy with whoever kept it there. But, so there you have it. They putting brains on microchips and making them think for themselves and turning them into these robots. So this video was actually made a year ago. So they've been doing this stuff for a long time. Just look up CRISPR, CRISPR, and you can get your own little at-home kit to do it yourself. You know, and if you smart enough, you might develop something. You might actually develop something. Just don't kill us off making diseases and stuff. But anyway, like I said, there you have it. This is where the non-human biologics come from. Somebody made this chip and made it into a probably a drone. Put the chip in a drone and let it, you know, let it discover what it can do on its own. And who's to say, that might be what all of these UFOs or whatever they call them now are right now. They probably just some people playing with human stem cells or human brains and computer chips. So what y'all think, man? Leave it off in the comments for me. But as y'all know, I got things to do. I got things to do. Before I get started on the things I'm doing, I just want to take y'all back again, cause I ain't even dropped this CD again, but I did have it out for a little while, and that motherfucker jamming too. So go and check your boy out, you know what I'm saying? Support me. Wow Mac, you know what I'm saying? Get that neighborhood dope, man. Get that non-stop. Check this out. This one called Life of a Player. Yeah. This was the first CD I wrote after I had my kids. I was trying to explain what I had been through, you know, get it out loud so I could get started on my new journey. But yo, check me out though.
Slicker than a lawyer, Jack. Catch me in the city pulling bad bitches, tricking them into my Cadillac. If that was your dime, I'ma pass her back. You can have the cat, I'm a master at flipping these chicks like an acrobat. Then kick it back with my cash to stack. It's Wild Mac, I'm from Oak Cliff. West Oak Cliff, got thighs going crazy on this dope dick. All she gotta do is pay me and I'm gone quick. If she look into my eyes, I'm gone hit. If she listen to the words, I'm gone spit. If she be feeling like a person, the road with the bar saying Wild Mac, don't you want me? She put the cash in the penny, said come get it. Don't play with me, girl, I'ma come with it. How you nothing today when I'm done with it? You be running back for more, addicted. If you got an odor, can't fuck with it. If it smell like candy, I must leave it. If it's a cougar, I just did it. Waxed it and then busted it. In this rap game, I done gone made. Can't pimp like me, she ain't call me made. Call me up for a small favor. She paying me after y'all pay it. It's Wild Mac, I'm from Oak Cliff. The Himalayas, I little. Usually I ride bourbons and lax. Elbow out the window like a true Mac. Diamonds on the wood, leather, very plush. Cause I'm trying to put the women in the back. Dime in the front, head in my lap. Headed to the money, set in the trap. She gon' say running and you gonna bum it. Cause you gotta hand over all of your stats. This wild back, I'm from Oak Cliff. Triple D, man, Oak Cliff. You smoke weed, smoke this. Here, take a little sip of this potion. I'm sort of a freak and I wanna see if you can move it in slow motion. And if you can, we're making the money, but swimming it like the ocean. I got the leak, you got the team. I got the passion, you got the dream. You got the pills, I got the lean. You got the skills and I got the steam. If y'all down, you gotta come with it. Don't try to take money and run with it. I got a rifle and I hunt with it. Don't fuck around and get done with it. In this rap game, I done gone made. Can't pimp like me, she call me made. She call me up for a small favor. She paying me after y'all pay. This wild back, I'm from Oak Cliff, Texas, Himalayas. I live a
Oh, my bad. Hey, what's good, Travis? Hey, man, I got sidetracked, man. I forgot to look at the comments, but yeah, man, I sure appreciate you checking it out. Nah, real talk, man. That's what they doing, and then they trying to make it seem like it's something else. I knew it was some kind of cover up, though. I always knew it. You know, you gotta watch them. They slick. They smart. You niggas better watch your ass. They smart. That's what depends on how long we gon' last. You know what I'm talking about? But say, man, hey, y'all keep it real with your boy. You know what I'm saying? Holla at me. I got some new stuff coming. Y'all already know, cause we all got things to do, right? Nah, for real.
I know you wanna kick it with a player, soak some game up, learn you a thing or two. But oh, how did I mention? I got things to do. I'm still pimping. I got things to do. I know you wanna kick it with a player, soak some game up, learn you a thing or two. But oh, how did I mention? I got things to do. I'm still pimping. I got shit to do, you tryna see what this big titan dick can do. I can't be wasting my time trying to get with you. I put money over bitches, it's business, boo. I don't pity fools. You fuck with my crew, we gon' get at you. Plus, if we start up some shit, we gon' end it too. Don't give a fuck if my partners offended you. Nah, for real. Just stay out the way, cause we welcome, we probably got a lot to say. I am from America, I am not a slave. OCO, those who support Dane Calloway. Never fall off, I got money on my mind, bitch, I bow. I'm tryna buy me some land with my dogs, y'all, so we can save all our people from wicked laws. Releasing tension, you know if I fuck her, she leaving lippin'. Nothing personal, baby, just bring your pension. Jiggle low like I'm your girl, bitch, really pimpin'. It's a money shot, put that hoe on the thumb, make a bunny hot. Got them holding their dicks with their money yacht, cause I gotta get mine for this country fly. Where the weed at, man, I just lost my god brother ID. They give me that good shit, no stems and no seeds, Jack. I'm about to walk in the Mars, I'll be back. I got great pool, and niggas be envious, hateful. Like I passion for my people, be grateful. I know you wanna chill, but my plate full. I know you wanna kick it with a player, soak some game up, learn you a thing or two. But oh, how did I mention? I got things to do. I'm still pimping. I got things to do. I know you wanna kick it with a player, soak some game up, learn you a thing or two. But oh, how did I mention? I got things to do. I'm still pimping. These
these youngsters thinking they running the game, but the OGs are taking it back over Maine. Better believe that we off the chain. I roam with them players that's pimping the game. They never switched up for a moment of fame. They telling you something good straight to your face. Making your music not getting no play, cause we not the same. I am untamed, never insane. I'm throwed in the game. You looking foolish, I look like a king. Don't you be hated because you can't hang, but now can look again that sense of your name. You are the weakest link up in your chain. Don't just love when I play with your brain. If you can't stand it, just stay out my lane. I'm bringing the pain, I do my thing. Why the young niggas up in Dallas hate? You see that they eating off each other's plate, claiming they real when they know that they fade. Seeing them when they take off from the gate, dripping wetter than the fish out the lake. Bleeding real hard like an undercut stage. Look at the trickle down theory you made. We shaking our heads for goodness sake. What will it take for us to get a braid? To mold something out of hand from the clay. Never take shape cause it's off every day. Talking like hate when it's not fully baked. On the right path but they go the wrong way. Never listen to the things we say. Gonna let them go and do what they made. We whipping the game, they wanna play.
I know you wanna kick it with a player, soak some game up, learn you a thing or two. But oh, how did I mention? I'm still pimping. I know you wanna kick it with a player, soak some game up, learn you a thing or two. But oh, how did I mention? I'm still pimping.
At any given time, it's money to be made, so what's the delay? If you sitting on your ass, then you don't want nothing, you just anyway. I do my best to try to keep a play to make it, that's every day. Cause ain't no way I'm about to let this slip away. I really need things, don't have time to play no games. Disturb my sleep, looking for them things. Shit, I'm saying it like I ain't about to get my ass up and go get this paper. Starting to see no other way, making moves at 2 in the AM. Working for self is my future lane, I can't complain if I ain't making changes. To myself, I like the stations, that's the only way I like to get paid. And in a closed, controlled environment, I'm stepping foot onto this pavement. Too many distractions these days, and I have too much on my plate. Yeah, I can devour, it's not a thing. I like to move at my own pace. If not about family and money, then it won't mean not a thing. If you're not around to build to be a part of this movement, then it's the thing. It shows that you're not on my to-do list. Time is valuable, and I truly value mine, so should you shit. So away with you, I got things to do, bitch.
I know you wanna kick it with a player, soak some game up, learn you a thing or two. But oh, how did I mention? I'm still pimping.
Kinda hard watching myself vibe on the screen with the delay.
So
I know it's off on the video. It's just, I'll be jazzing.
I know you wanna kick it with a player, soak some game up, learn you a thing or two. But oh, how did I mention? I got things to do.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. So y'all know I got things to do, man. So I'm gonna go and let y'all go, let y'all rest y'all heads. But y'all think this is a dangerous situation that we looking at? Probably not to us, but to them more than anything else, because we ain't fucking with it, you know. I mean, hey, but if anything, you know, we'll be the ones that, never mind. Hey, what y'all think about it? What y'all think about it? Leave it in the comments, you know. You know, just leave it off in the comments. I want to know what y'all think. I want to know what y'all think. Do we need to worry about these non-human biologics? Or do we need to have them shut down they program? I mean, like I say, anybody can make these. Anybody can do it. So we never know what might be out there already made or about to be made. You feel me? But alright, y'all be safe out there and be careful. Remember, y'all, stay strong and keep your eyes open. Think for yourself. Don't believe nothing nobody tell you until you research it for yourself. Because only you can explain it the way you can understand. Alright, y'all. Peace and blessings. Be safe.